Okay, lesson 6, tables. Probably the most important lesson. Not that any other stuff was unimportant, but tables will be used almost every single web page. It'll definitely be used in CSS. Some web pages are done entirely in tables. For instance, this web page has a table. So for a little trick, I'm going to hit View Page Source. This is going to show you the web source code on every website. So here you go. This is the source code for HTML tutorial lesson 6. If I scroll down, here's your table width, and here's all the other stuff. So they use tables in their site. Tables are super important. They're great for organizing and keeping track of where things are and maintaining borders, etc. So here's your basic structure for the table. I think it should go without saying at this point, you should read all of this information. It's super important. But basic overview, here's the structure. We hit Control Copy. We're going to take that, put that into our web notes. We hit File, we hit Save, and then we're going to refresh. And now we have our table down here. Not very exciting until we edit some things. So if we go back, table border, we're going to add these things: border, cell padding, and cell spacing. This is going to really allow us to see our table. So when I add these things, now, oops, wrong page, refresh. Now you see the actual cells of the table. The cell padding and the cell spacing and the border. So this is the border. This little thing that you see, and then the cell padding and the cell spacing is how much space is between the border and the words or the pictures or whatever. So this is basic table stuff. Okay, now let's scroll up real quick, okay, with some things that you can do. Now, cell padding and cell spacing, it's just going to create space after the border, before you actually get to the words. So it defines the spacing within the cells, defines the spacing between the cells. The important stuff is really the alignments. So you can align left, center, right. You can vertically align, that's what V align stands for, top, middle, or bottom. You can set the background color of the table, and you can change the width. So since you've been playing with websites thus far, I want you to play with these things, and I want you to add this code, align, v-align, okay, add this code, see what it does to your table. Okay, what I do want to point out is how the table is broken down. So these are table rows. Okay, so let's go back to our site here. Let's open our code here. Okay, so the whole thing, this is our table, right? Table has one row, as you can see. There's table row, and then this is the end of the table row. So it has one row, and in that row it has two columns, or table data. That's what TD stands for, table data. But it is a column in that row. So this is one column, there's another column. It's easier thinking of them as cells than columns because there's no real actual columns. You create the columns using the cells. So table rows have table data. That's the best way to think about it with cells. But as you see, if I were to create a second row, so if I come over here, Control Copy, and then Control V, I now have a second row, and I can say this is cell 3 and this is cell 4. So if I hit File, Save, and then I refresh, there's 3 and there's 4. Now I now have two rows, one row, two rows, but I also have two columns, 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 are a column. But as you can see, they are still contained within their rows. So I would not get into the habit of thinking them as columns because you're going to have confusion with the code. So I could also be funky, right? So I can say TD just to throw things a loop, number 5, right? And then I can close that TD. And if I say File, Save, Refresh, okay, it adds that third cell, and there's nothing above it. That's why you don't really think about columns, okay? But in a normal table, when you're doing work in school, you'll have rows and columns. So that's why I'm bringing that relationship, but it's table data. And I'm going to delete the 5th row because it doesn't really fit. I just wanted to show you that. So, like I said, go back to the lesson, mess with the alignments, mess with the colors, mess with the width. Okay, you should have a pretty extensive table that has, just for assignment's sake, okay, you should have one cell that is aligned left, one cell that's aligned center, one cell that's aligned right, one cell that's vertically aligned top, one cell that's vertically aligned middle, one cell that's vertically aligned bottom, okay, and then do a table row with 3 different colors to match those 3, okay, and then change the width of your table, okay. So actually it specifies the width of a row, so change the width of a row, width equals and you go ahead and add whatever you want. I'm not going to do it. I want you to do it because I want you to play with it. I want you to get an idea for tables because you're going to use tables a lot, and I don't want you to just follow along with the teacher. I want you to think a little bit outside the box and get some experimentation. So have some fun with that. Follow these instructions, read everything that's on here, and try it out. Yeah.